Hey everybody, Dylan Tommy here. Gonna do a quick run through of the tanks because I got some updates for you. I'd like to do a couple close shots of some of these planted tanks down here. I think I'll hit the shrimp tank first since we're on the level and just kind of cruise. They're all hanging out down on the substrate and in the plants, so it's nice to catch them at this time when the water is nice and clear before feeding. I mean, this is right about the time where I would feed everything in here. So I kind of want to get the camera out and just cruise the tanks, check everything out before I feed them. Like always, this shrimp tank just has plant growth all the way to the top, you know, so they can just hang out on everything. I like it like that. Like I said, it seems they like it like that, so I let it just overgrow. I have trimmed it in the past, but not much at all lately. Just because there's a lot more shrimp in here. It seems they need a lot more area. I could quite literally film this tank all night. I mean, these shrimp are everywhere on every bit of every plant, and you know, and especially this massive bunch of N.Brichardi. I mean, look at them. They're just piled in here. Some you can't see, some are blended in, and the camera's going to have a hard time focusing on each and every one because they're at different distances. But yeah, a quick look at the shrimp tank. I'm going to keep rolling because I'd like to kind of get all the planted tanks. We'll go right down to Mojo's tank, and this tank has had a couple changes because I got in there to do some maintenance, and I knocked that piece of driftwood, so it's kind of pointed up now. It's got I noticed it's got a lot of moss runners down here. It's a piece of moss growing up out of this anubias here. And I noticed a lot of snails in here. They're white snails because of the betta food, you know, the white pellets, so the snails are white. I'd like to really get down here and take a look at the bottom of this tank. I always think the extreme close-ups are cool, you know? All this, you know, life that lives down here at the bottom of your aquarium. These snails definitely are a benefit to Mojo's tank. It's the only thing else living in here with him, you know? Yeah, you're cool, buddy. I'm gonna keep rolling. I'd like to show this tank because it's growing out of control. If you look at this wisteria, I mean, it's almost ready to go out the top. I mean, it's bending over. It's just taking up the whole tank if you see it, you know. It's craziness. But it gives them like this refuge to kind of swim in. I think it's, you know, this cool look for the zebra danios. This overgrown look. I'm really starting to really enjoy this overgrown look in all my tanks, you know. It seems really natural to me. I can give you a look at what's going on in here. I'd have to take this down. But they won't pop their heads out, but they're just right about there, you know. I still got the little lone guppy down here. I do want to talk about these two tanks I got down here, because I've kind of planted this tank up and it's truly become a hospital tank. Both of these have become a hospital tank for the most part, you know, because this is a quarantine tank, a little refuge tank for this guy, the third N.Brichardi that I had bought, and I told you guys that I put him into the new project tank. Anyways, he got a little terrorized. He got his tail ripped off, if you can see. So I got him in here by himself, and he's really coming around. He's got his whole tail to grow back. So this is going to be his home. This is going to be his little refuge to kind of grow up and live in here for a while. And I'll tell you about these plants. I never expected to have them in here, but I was in a local fish store that doesn't often have, you know, really nice plants, and I saw these in there. And for this bunch, I mean, I'm a stem guy. I like stem plants. For this little bunch of stems was $2.99. I mean, they were all packed together and, you know, sold as that. And I separated them out and you know, spread them out. But I couldn't not, you know, buy these plants when I saw them. Like I said, I was in a fish store that doesn't necessarily always have good plants. So when I saw them and they looked green and healthy and ready to go, I said, oh, you know what, we'll just put them in this tank. He'll have a little, you know, more of a natural scape to kind of heal and be his little refuge down here. This poor guy, he really got beat up once I put him in that tank. He's kind of tiny, and it was kind of my fault, but I didn't know it was going to happen. You know, I'm trying to get that N.Brichardi colony going in the other tank. So, you know, I want to take good care of him because that was my mistake. But yeah, I got these plants in here. I think it's a type of Ludwigia. I'm not totally sure. You guys let me know. It's got some nice, you know, purple and red in the stem. It's very cool. Very good looking plant. And I still got the prime bottle with the air running. Really works good as a filter. You know, I got a sponge inside there and the polyfill. And I do have a filter in here running too. And let's keep going. Because in this tank now, I told you, I got fry. I got Daniel fry. And I've been feeding them and try to keep them alive. And let me see if I can actually get a couple of them on film for you, because they've been hard to film. There's one little guy, but they're in here, no doubt about it. Let me see if we get over there. There they are. Yeah, I've been taking care of them, feeding the first bites, and making sure their water clean, and you know, keeping them alive. They're, you know, kind of hard to count, but you know, I take a guesstimate. There's probably, you know, not more than 30. You know, there's not more than 30 in here. So that'll be fun, you know, just to raise up these little Daniel fry. They've grown. They've definitely grown. Oops, sorry. You know, since I've noticed them in here since day one. And like I said, I've been trying to really keep up with the feeding. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Really tiny, tiny fry. I mean, it's not like an African cichlid where, you know, the first day you strip the female, you know, they got their egg sacs on, and their yolk sacs rather, and you know, you can see them. You know, these guys, you have to look around. They're, you know, really tiny, tiny fries. So that'll be an experience rather. And we're just going to show this tank and say that is that. Because there's really nothing new. Everything's growing up just fine. I mean, I'm loving, you know, the life inside this tank. Let me get down here. The Serpes are looking bad as ever. And my MLTs on the substrate. Where are they? Doing their work. I know this video is getting long, so do want to show the tanks. Monster growth as far as Rotala. And a little update on the rams I have in here. I'm pretty sure they're both females. Definitely not a male and a female. Both of them kind of have the fluorescent across their dark spot. And they both have black black bars on their finnage, so pretty sure they're both females. So if I do want to get any breedings of the rams, gonna have to go out and make sure I get a male, and that's okay. You know, it's just nice to have you know, more fish in here. I really wasn't too interested in, you know, the whole breeding thing, but like I said, if it was a pair and if it happened, it happened, you know, in this planted tank, so be it. Same thing with the Serpes. For a while I thought they were going to get something done, but like I said, gonna see what happens with the Danios, experiment with those, and just, you know, kind of let my tanks evolve. I told you guys in the past, that's what I kind of like to do, is just let them evolve naturally, kind of try to stay out of them, and, you know, do your maintenance and make sure you do your water changes, but let your tanks evolve, let their plants grow, let that cycle establish, you know, let it happen. Look at this guy, he is so comfortable in this tank, and he is just, I can't say doubled in size, but he has really put some size on since he's come in here. Look at him, you are just showing off now. I guess I'm glad I cruised all the tanks, and this guy is just out and about. Since they've been in this tank, I've been feeding them a lot of the you know, the frozen brine shrimp rather than the NLS pellet, and when I did try to put the NLS pellet in this morning, they weren't happy about it, so they ended up getting more of a frozen feeding today. And I noticed if I put the pellet in with the frozen feeding, they're just, you know, so anxious to go after it, they eat the pellet too. So it seems once they're in this tank, you know, their new scape, they really like eating that frozen stuff. Well, you know, real food rather than a pellet. They got a little refuge behind this slate. She's probably behind there. Like I said, I've been calling her she. And they both duck behind there. So if anything happens as far as breeding activity, it's likely to happen behind this little piece of slate, and, you know, there's a shell in there, and I can kind of almost see in the reflection. So it would be cool for me to observe, you know, just the way it is here, because I can kind of sneak a view, you know, if I have to. Just curious if you know, they get any breeding done in this tank. But look at him. He is just so comfortable in this large tank. I love it. No hiding. And that's the thing. You give them a lot of places to hide and they feel comfortable, so they're out, you know. And look at these plants too. I'm so shocked about these plants. They have there's no dirt substrate in here. Just root tabs. You know, just root tabs and a little bit of dirt that was left on the roots when these plants came out of you know, the tanks that they were in. But only time will tell on them. You know, I thought that if they were going to melt off, I would have started seeing a lot more meltage by now, but they're doing well. Look at this dude. This is gonna be a monster long video, so I gotta say that's a N.Brichardi update, and I'll keep walking for you. We'll just quickly run through here and take a look at the Mbuna tank, and I'll say that's about it, guys. I did want to show you those things because I want to get those Danios grown up, and hopefully I can take good care of that little N.Brichardi in the quarantine tank, and you know, I'll keep you guys updated as far as what I'm doing. This tank's just looking fantastic since I put that new filter on there. That's 70. I mean, crystal, just crystal. These fish can dig it. They had a little reflection because I got light on in this room. But yeah, if you guys are still watching, I appreciate it. This is a super long video, but I guess it takes me a little bit to cruise the tanks lately. But I do appreciate you tuning in and checking out my fish. Like I said, I'll keep you tuned in. I'll keep you updated as far as what I'm doing. I mean, my tanks will continue to evolve. These fish will continue to grow. Thanks, guys. You have a good one. I'm signing off. Good night. Peace!